I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. These from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Potty Green.
This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most spoke, no joke, and I'm back again with a brand new video. And today we're gonna be getting into the just newly released, fresh and hot off the presses, Carolina Panthers 2019 schedule, the full schedule for every single week. We're gonna get right into it. And as you guys know, this is the very first year the Panthers will be going to the UK. So we're going to see just what week it is. I think most of you guys already know what week it is we're going to the UK. But we have a London game against the Bucks. We'll see how that game is. I'll give a full, I guess, first early edition of my record prediction based off of where we're going to be playing and the teams we're going to be playing, and a few things historically I noticed about the team. And keep in mind, this is just a very early prediction. And spoiler alert, I'm not going to say we're going to go 16-0. I'm going to keep it realistic here. And the last thing before we get started, some of you guys were in the live stream I was doing, going over and reacting to the schedule when it first came out live. Well, when I was watching the video, at the very end of the video, my laptop overheated. And if you guys knew the problems I was having with my laptop lately, man. So I know some of you are disappointed, surprised, didn't know what was happening. That's what it was, man. I've been having some problems with my computer for a minute now. We'll get all that sorted out. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get right into the schedule here and see who we play, when we play, and talk a little bit about what we've noticed in the schedule. So let's go down right now and look at it. Off top, we got this video. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, I watched the video on stream, but it was actually a really good, interesting, and I think original idea. Let's get into it right here. 5A. Hey, the Sega. Week 1, we got the Rams. Week 2, against the Bucks. Okay. Week 3, Cruising USA. Against the Cardinals. Okay. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You got Cam J.J. Watt, the Texans. Yo, Kareem Campbell. All my real ones know about Kareem Campbell. That's the only one I remember. Jags week 5. Week 6, Bucks again. That's the UK game. Okay. I don't know this game. It sounds like Halo. I know it's not Halo. Levi Stadium, that's week 8. Week 9 versus the Titans. We're home. Which game is this? I play a lot of wrestling games, but I don't remember this one. Got Green Bay. Sir Pearl was caught. Game versus Atlanta. Pokemon Go. This is El Clasico, probably the best game to come out on the N64 ever. Maybe Perfect Dark, who knows. Redskins week 13. Pat Cam. I did not notice that. That is dope. Then you have the Seahawks week 15. Week 16 at Indianapolis against the Colts. And then week 17, DJ Moore and the Saints. Okay, here's the full game list right here. Kind of the same kind of look here. So what you can see here is the full schedule laid out. The white games are at home, the blue games are away. So let's go ahead and look at this and see what we notice here, because there's a lot to look into here and a lot that's actually very interesting about this schedule we have. Week 1 versus the Rams at home, that's cool. Week 2 versus the Bucks is a Thursday night game. Do they usually have Thursday games that early in the season? I thought they waited till week 3 or 4 to start having Thursday night games. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about having our first game against the Rams and then our second game 4 days later. That makes no sense. That gives me a really bad feeling about how the season's going to start off, at least for at home, because the away team on Thursday night games usually has a really, really bad time. You saw that, last year. But for the most part, the away team has a really bad time on Thursday night games. So at least it's at home. But still, I'm not a big fan of Thursday night games being after the first week of the season. That's not really good for me. Then the next 2 games are away. We have the Cards at 4:05 p.m. We don't usually get 4:05 games. We usually get 1 p.m. games. This not very often you see the Panthers playing at 4. That second time slot is just weird for me. I don't know what it is. I like having 1 o'clock games or primetime games. That second time slot is just weird. I know it's because we're on the West Coast against Arizona, but still, I don't like it. 1 p.m. again away against the Texans on the 29th. Okay, week 5 we have the Jags at home. Week 6, we have the Bucks at 9:30 a.m. in jolly old London. We're going to move on past that. Week 7, obviously got the bye. That's a good thing. We don't want to go from London to another game that's just as bad as, maybe even worse, than having a Sunday then Thursday game. I hate those. Week 8 against the Niners. Week 9, we have a Titans game at home. Week 10 against the Pats. Week 11 against the Falcons, another 1 p.m. game. Week 12 is an away game against the Saints, November 24th. Week 13th is December 1st. We go against the Redskins at home. We have the Falcons again, Week 14, December 8th, 1 p.m. Week 15, December 15th against the Seahawks at home. Week 16, we have the Colts, another 1 p.m. game on a Sunday. Week 17, we have the Saints again. It's another 1 p.m. game, December 29th. And that's the whole season right here. Now let's go ahead and break down what we notice about the schedule here. The first thing that pops out to me is the most obvious thing, and that's how the color scheme is working out, how the blocking of the colors is. It looks pretty even. Home, home, away, away, home. Then we have, I guess, technically away, but it's London. Then away, home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, home. I mean, it's just about as even as a schedule can get. I mean, it's actually literally as even as a schedule can get. 2 back-to-back, 2 back-to-back, and then it basically alternates every single week. I mean, I guess we have a back-to-back away game with the week 6 and week 8, but for the most part, generally, it's about as alternating as a schedule can be. The next thing I notice is that there is only one primetime game, and that's week 2 on a Thursday. Panthers versus Bucks. Look, ain't no one watching that game. Week 2 game, Panthers and Bucks. The first thing on everyone's mind is, the last time I saw the Panthers play in primetime, what happened? And what happened? And then they were thinking, okay, so maybe the Panthers could be better this year, but am I going to watch the Panthers play the Buccaneers? I don't think there's going to be many people who aren't fans of the two teams watching that game. Something else that I noticed that we already knew is our away games are kind of far. We have the Cardinals in Arizona. We have the Texans in Houston. We have the Niners all the way in California. Packers are in Wisconsin. And Indianapolis isn't all that far. It's not like West Coast or anything, but I mean, that's a wash for me. A lot of these away games are very far. How the schedule works out, we're playing what we should expect to see as quality teams and, kind of easier teams, maybe, quotation marks, pretty evenly. I mean, Rams, I can see us, that's a home game. I'm not a really big fan of playing the Rams at home very first week. I'm going to go ahead and give that an L. Keep it real with you. The Bucks on a Thursday week 2. I'm just glad it's the Bucks, and I'm glad we're at home. I hate Thursday night games unless it's any other team playing. But since it's the Bucks and since we're at home, I'll give us a W there. The Cards have to do a lot, and unless Kyler Murray is God reincarnated, come down to earth, then I don't see us having too much trouble playing against the Cards there. So we'll take the Cards. Then a W. The Texans is going to be a hard game. They have a good defense, a very, very strong offense. This game, I think, depends on how we draft. Our defense has to be on point for this game. We have to get takeaways because this is a team that can get really explosive. And this is a team with a defense that can give their offense a short field. And you can't make too many mistakes against the Texans. This is going to be a good game. You know what? I'll give us a W here, but it's going to be very, very close. This is going to be a really close W that can go either way. Jags, I'll give us a win there as well. Although I will say, do not sleep on the Jags this year. The Bucks again in London. Look, those Florida teams that play in London, the Jags are basically a home London team. You really can't sleep on these teams in London. I don't like this matchup. You know what? We do always lose a game to a team we really shouldn't every single year. And I think the Bucks are going to be a team we do lose to, one of those games that we really shouldn't lose. But I'm leaning more toward an L in that London game. I hope we win it. And I think it's kind of hard for me, but I know that every single year we lose a game to a team we should never even, the game shouldn't even be close. I'm going to say that's going to be the week 6 matchup in London against the Bucks. Week 8 against the Niners. If Jimmy G is still healthy and if they do get a receiver in the draft, that'll be good. But I still think that even though it's going to be a far game at 4 o'clock on the road, I think we can come out the win against the Niners there. I'll give us a W there. Now the Niners week 8, it is an away game. It is one of the farthest games we have away from Carolina. And it's at 4:05. And it's against a team that should be looking better this year if Jimmy G can stay healthy, if they get a receiver or some kind of offense for him to play around. Their defense could use a little bit of help, but I do think we can win this game, even though it's so far, I think we can go ahead and go there and get a W out of there. So we'll get a win from the Niners. Now, week 9 versus the Titans at home. This is kind of confusing because the Titans are kind of a confusing team. The Titans are a team that could go 7-9, 9-7 easily. They're like the best of the mediocre slash just above average kind of teams. One of the middle of the pack teams that just always seems to just make the playoffs, or they could just miss the playoffs. The AFC South's going to be a little bit better this year, so we'll see how they play. I want to see just how healthy Marcus Mariota can stay during the season. His durability is a big question, and by week 9, we should be able to see, is he actually durable? Will he be in the game? So I think we can probably get a win there. It's at home. I like our matchup there. Our defense should be good if we do get the right defensive pieces there. Week 10 against the Packers in Green Bay. We do play pretty well against the Packers. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's a really good quarterback, high talent and everything. But I'm not really all that sold on the team as a whole. Sure, they have Aaron Rodgers. Sure, they have a piece here or there. But I'm not all that sold on the Pack. They do tend to win games, but over the past couple seasons, Aaron Rodgers has been pretty questionable with his durability as well. And by week 10, we should see whether he's still up. At this point, I'm thinking he might be a little brittle. Hey, if they find him some weapons, and if they find him a defense, they won't find him a defense. But if they find him a defense, it'll be a tough matchup. But I do like our chances against the Packers. I'll give us a W there. Week 11 versus the Falcons at home. Honestly, I'm not really sure whether we're going to win at home or win away. But I think we're going to split with the Falcons. I think I don't see a sweep this season. I think a lot of their season last year was due to injuries. They would have been a really good team last year if it weren't for injuries. They were actually decimated by injuries, and it was pretty early on. This season was kind of killed. It was FUBAR, like mad early, and they actually had a pretty decent little run at the end there to make their record kind of respectable. Saints week 12, just before Thanksgiving. This is going to be a good little matchup here. It's away. It's at the Dome. We got to see just how much magic Drew Brees still has in the tank there. I think we probably lose this week 12 matchup away, but we win in Carolina week 17. So I think a split with the Saints is, I think that's about right. I don't want to say we're gonna sweep them. It's totally possible, but I think projecting it wise, I think it's probably smarter to say that we're gonna split that. And for me, that's not a bad thing because I don't think it's an insult to the team to think that we may split with two of the better teams in one of the best divisions in football. Week 13 against the Redskins. It should be a good game. This is another team that I think is one of those teams that we could either win or lose against. They have no quarterback. I don't know what they're going to be doing in the draft this year. They are one of the most confusing teams. I don't know what their front office does half the time. They draft kind of weird. I don't know how it's going to go. And they actually play a sneaky kind of good game. They can be terrible one week. They can be great the next week. This is a game that can go either way. It's at home. I would not be surprised if we lost this game, but I'm going to give us a win here. But like I said, man, this is my first look at it. I would not be surprised if we lost to a team like the Redskins, a mediocre, middle-of-the-road team. Kind of the Titans of the NFC East, if you think about it. The Falcons, like I already said, we're going to split that one. Seahawks, depends on how they draft. And honestly, Russell Wilson came through and got his money. So we're going to see how he plays this season. I think the Seahawks are going to be better this year than they were last year. At home, this is another one of those games where I see it going either way. I'll give us a home loss against the Seahawks. I think they're a really good team. And, if they find a defense for themselves, and they can find a way to stop our offense, I think this is going to be a team that it'll be a close game that may come down to the last possession. But I'll give us an L there. Week 16 versus the Colts. Andrew Luck might be back. They might be back. They might get a running back. Look, they might have a good defense this year. If they draft the right way, the Colts could be scary. You know what? I give us a loss in this game too because the Colts might be all the way back if Andrew Luck can stay healthy, bro. They have an O-line, a great O-line. They have cap room, bro. They are not done yet. I can see them having a great season. I think I gave us, 6 L's in this one? I said split, lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Colts. I said a loss to the Bucks in a split. I split the whole division? Okay. So I think I have us at 11-5 this season, although, 11-5, 10-6 sounds about right. It sounds reasonable. I think we can go 12-4, but 11-5 sounds about right, and we should make the playoffs this year with 11-5. But what do you guys think, man? This has been going on for a minute now. What are your thoughts? What is your record prediction? What are your thoughts on the home and away balance here? What are your thoughts on the UK game? Thoughts on the timing? Do you like or dislike how we didn't get a single primetime game this season? Every team gets a Thursday night game for primetime. That doesn't count. We didn't get a Sunday night or a Monday night game this year. How do you feel about that? And honestly, did we deserve it after what we did against the Steelers last year? Do we deserve to have a primetime game? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.